So they just released an update for Watch Dogs Legion, which I know isn't a great game, but it's a hardcore mode. So what I get, because normally
Josh,
I have
are you listening?
Oh, yeah, I'm listening.
What are you thinking about?
Nothing. Hello and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Josh Sakamoto Michaels, and today, as always, I am joined by
Megan the Hitman Perrine.
Cody Telepathic Decker.
Oh,
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Volume 1. Like I just mentioned moments ago, we are going to be covering Volume 1 of Sakamoto Days, a semi-new series in Shonen Jump that is currently, as of this recording, at a whopping 34 chapters. But before we get started, I don't know if you heard it in the last episode, but we're going live at the beginning of every month. So set your calendars for the beginning of next month where we'll be covering Food Wars live.
whoa.
And there will be some sort of food challenge, some sort of potluck, some sort of spicy challenge at the end, so you're not going to want to miss it. And as always, there will be chapters below, so you can skip ahead to any part of this review that you like, but I hope you want to stay for the whole ride because I spent a lot of money on cosplay for it. Yes, so let's just jump into it. Sakamoto Days. I didn't know much about this going into it, but I did know that it seemed, at least from what I had perused before actually diving into it, this series did remind me a little bit of Way of the House Husband. So I was going in a little bit, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, a little sort of nervous. Yes, Cody?
Well, yeah, I remember you saying that, and I think it's a little bit of Way the House Husband mixed with Spy X Family.
You guys said it before I could say it, so yes.
I
agree.
was going to say, and for the audio listeners,
Definitely.
if we sound like we're clenching our jaws, it's because we're wearing mustaches.
So this may have not been.
We've grown mustaches.
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah,
not that
I want to say that it's a combination of a little bit of Way of the House Husband and One Punch Man a little bit. Just because of its it's a little more silly, and its main character is drawn in a similarly sort of like nonchalant sort of fashion, and the epic fight scenes are epic, and our protagonist Sakamoto does seem at times unbeatable. This was a fun series that's been recommended to us a lot by you guys, but that's kind of what I expected going into it. What did you guys expect going into this series?
I know nothing about it, and just seeing the cover, I was like, what is this? What's going on with this old man? Which he's not old from what I know now. And I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it looked interesting, and then the more I read, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely a combination of both. Very well done in both kind of like comedy and action and assassinations, and it was a good time. I was highly enthusiastic about reading more.
It's so funny hearing. It's so hard to like express ourselves in these mustaches too. So Megan just giving that explanation, she's just like deadpan.
And yeah, it was like a great time.
Yeah. Cody, what about you?
I was perusing forums trying to find manga that looked interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't read it. I told you to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, he doesn't know I haven't read it yet.
Well, I remember back in the day when we were doing some research for what series we should cover next. It was like Kaiju number 8, Sakamoto Days, and Undead Unluck.
Yeah.
And I think it was like Unluck was just like the timing worked out just a little bit more. And then we started doing Berserk, and then now we're back.
Yeah, and now we're back.
But yeah. I just read this while eating noodles, and I had a very fun time. It didn't it is like a slice of life still. It is still a comedy, and yeah, it does not hit as hard as Way of the House Husband, like you said.
The comedy moments.
But that's because it's also a little bit of action, a little bit of parody.
Yeah, and where this kind of differs, and what I kind of like about this more than Way of the House, but I think Way of the House Husband still might be where I go to for laughs. But Sakamoto Days, what I like about it is that with each chapter, you kind of get a new member of the crew, and you get to learn more and see more of the world as each chapter sort of goes on.
I was surprised by.
I like the move.
Yeah, I had to. I'm drinking coffee.
Well, what if you put it on the mic where like your mouth would be,
Oh.
and then just hold your mouth there.
Just kind of looks like a white caterpillar.
Yeah.
Which
But I
caterpillars turn
do
into your
think that
worst
too,
Oh yeah.
with the hitman genre, you know, you could even call this John a little John Wick, or as I like to call it, John Thick. You know, because Sakamoto, yeah, he's got a couple C's. You know, in
Damn
Good
it.
one.
Yeah.
That hit me.
Yeah, that was great.
That hit me. I would say right, like in between my stomach and heart, because I'm full
Oh.
and I feel good.
Oh.
And Cody, you compared it a little bit to Slice of Life, and you know, you're not the biggest Slice of Life fan. I think of the two of us, Megan is probably an even bigger Slice of Life fan. But you know, did you enjoy the Slice of Life aspect of it?
It did have a charm that was pretty. It is weird because I'm like, I have seen like almost this exact same setup before. It didn't feel that way to me though. But every time I read, I'm like, I feel like I should be more annoyed with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Not annoyed, but I was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, like I've seen this definitely, like we were saying, like Spike's family, like, you know, someone who's an ex doesn't really want to be involved in it anymore, but kind of is still. And I was really happy with how it turned out later on, because it's not just him like running into situations like, you know, he actually kicks ass and like steps up and doesn't like sit in the background and try to hide him being this way or like hide it from other people. Like he's just like, yeah, this is my life and I don't do this anymore because of my wife.
Oh boy.
You get one more of those, and then
Why do you hate me so much? Why do you hate me so much?
What were you gonna say, Cody?
Yeah, I was worried at first because all I saw was the cover. I thought it was gonna be like a lot of like Imagine spots. And I did like how the narrative plays with Imagine spots, you know, like, oh, he just imagines doing this and he used to be that. And the joke is sort of like, kind of like the opposite of Way of the House Husband, where instead of like trying to avoid doing it and getting mistaken for it, and instead they play around with the plot a lot that I like. And it was cozy. I like reading it. I was like, I would have loved to sit here, just eat something and watch this.
Yeah, it was cozy. It was charming. And I guess, you know, what I did like about it, outside of just comparing it to the Way of the House Husband, is that the world felt really full of interesting characters that, you know, I was kind of unclear on sort of the power system, to your point of like imagining things. Like I couldn't quite tell at first when someone was just like saying they were a clairvoyant or saying they could do these things or actually doing them. But once you start to familiarize yourself with the world and the characters, it is a fun time, and then it's like a laid back, easy read. And
I feel like there's one other one, but this it's a slice of life comedy, but then the fight scenes are like really well executed.
Yeah,
yes,
dude.
I was about to say, like, just, you know, it's cozy, but when it gets to killing and shit, you're like, oh, God, is that a gory? What the fuck?
The panel choices too, and some of the chapters, just like how you can see the action play out. And to see Sakamoto, who is like a goofy kind of looking character, drawn in these really dramatic poses, it was very striking. Just because I think it
did I say that?
I don't know.
I mean,
he's just
like,
kind of.
I'm not gonna say no pun intended anymore. I'm just gonna point at you and do what I just did.
Okay, because I'm gonna constantly say just intend the pun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was striking because it was so badass, juxtaposed against like this, like, you know, kind of this guy who had like let himself go. But it was, and not that I have any experience or know anything about that, or can empathize with it at all, but I liked it.
And I did like, there was just one shot, which I'm sure we'll get to, but it was like, and this is for Megan.
Yeah.
I really like the introduction to his character, and they just lay it all out perfectly. Like, you know why, you know what the deal is in the first couple pages. Like that's a good story to me. Just give it all to us, and then we'll take it and accept it, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to
like
spread it along 3 chapters. Like it
Yeah.
was perfect.
They said he was clairvoyant. I'm like, I don't know what they mean by that, because that could mean anything. And then you get like a shot, and you're like, he actually is.
And he can use it to his advantage in battle, or not battle,
There
but
was-
in like, you know, fights.
Assassinations.
Yeah.
To it, there was like really solid teamwork moments where they use the abilities, and it is like that thing of like, yeah, even though it's a comedy, they're not just taking the shortcut in the fight. I am like, oh yeah, they're a really good team. And
and that's the only reason I keep, you know, saying Way of the House Husband, and I don't want to compare it anymore after this, but just because like when you say teamwork, there is that also on top of it being like an ex-Yakuza or hitman or assassin who's sort of like living a normal life now. There is that element of there's this guy who comes back that wants to like train under him. You know, that's another similarity.
And the
but it is different.
Yeah, the similarity also, I don't want to compare it to Spike's Family because this is the last time I'll do that.
I'll find a third thing to not compare it to.
Yeah, but it is like, you know, like in talking about the teamwork, like they're using their abilities together in order to create like plans, set goals, like, okay, we're going to do this. Where in Spike's Family, because he is a spy, he's like, you're 10 steps ahead. And they show like what their strategies are, which I really liked, and what their, you know, a plan is. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I probably won't read more of it, but I'm really excited to watch the anime.
You know, hopefully it gets one, and hopefully it doesn't get the same treatment that Way of the House Husband got.
Oh,
and
you know
it's
what?
an actual anime and not just something that someone made in PowerPoint.
Well, that's the thing. I remember I showed my roommates Way of the House. I'm like, no, it's really funny. And we watched them like, yeah, I guess, all right, I'll go back and read them all.
Yeah, there's no need unless you just like color and voices. Just read the manga. It hits so much harder.
But it would be really fun to see this as an anime. Like a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, especially when, you know, you get the jump shots of him like doing like some fight stuff.
Yeah, the action alone would be worth it.
But we also thought that about Way of the House.
Yeah, we did. But that still would be a good anime if they just like animated it. you know?
Which I was like, you guys warned me about it. I'm like, no, it can't be that bad. I'm like, oh, this is
you didn't want it to be that bad. You didn't want to accept the truth.
Yeah. So for anybody that's listening or watching this still does not know anything about Sakamoto Days or what it is about, the official synopsis is Sakamoto Days is about a legendary hitman, Taro Sakamoto, who quits his old life when he falls in love with a convenience store worker. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Like I said, it's only 34 chapters, and it starts with, you know, a little sort of backstory. We're just getting a couple panels of Sakamoto, and we're being shown sort of how badass and how feared he was in this sort of world. And right away, I mean, it's hilarious because the first joke is that that flashback ends with, and he let himself go.
Yeah. I do like the whole scene where he sees Aoi, his wife, and he's just like, she's like, welcome. And he's like, oh, and it's like, and he
his
fell
glasses
in love.
break.
Yeah. That was such a funny shot. And then it shows them like, you know, having their life together, getting married, having a kid. And then he's just like on like the floor, just like watch TV.
Yeah.
And it was so sweet. I'm a sucker for like family stories, slice of life shit. I'm like, this is so cute.
It was one of those things where it looked like it was like, you know, being like pretty playful with like setting up that it's this kind of story. Mm-hmm. And later on you see their relationship. I'm like, oh, I like them together.
I know.
Yeah, it's super wholesome.
And they're like real. It's like Way of the House has been like, I'm sorry. But they're real. I know it's strike one, but their relationship, I'm just like, oh, this is what I like.
And I love how they play with, you know, him letting himself go. And I love how, you know, in fights, it's sort of like his jowls,
like rubbing it. He's like, oh,
or they'll just
it has to catch up with him.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And then you know, we meet a guy who used to work with him, whose name is Shin, and this guy, you know, is sort of hunting him down. For the reason that we find out later, being, you know, he's trying to take him out, but or he's been told that, you know, he has to take him out. But we're also shown that even though Sakamoto's like let himself go, you know, he still is pretty badass. Like he still has a lot of those skills he had as an assassin, because there's a little boy who comes into the store and like, you know, drops some stuff all over this like businessman or this like just this adult man. And then that's what you're saying, Cody. Sakamoto imagines himself just like taking a pen and shoving it in this guy's neck.
And I thought for sure, I was like, oh, we're starting here. Okay, he's just killing. Okay. Oh my God. I really thought he'd killed him. And then he walks out and you're like, huh, what was that about? And then you see that.
And then it's like, okay, so you think that's like, oh, that's him imagining and remembering his past, but that Shin can read his mind and he saw that. And he goes, oh my God, this guy, like, he's still a dangerous person.
And I do like how Shin like gets there and like is talking to him. He's like, you're the best of all time. How could you could let this happen? He's just like a family man now. And then he's just like, damn, I can't take this guy.
And Sakamoto never talks.
That's what I was going to say.
And then and then he can like, so Shin just reads his mind all the time. And it got to like, I was like, but then you do see that he does talk.
Yeah.
He just didn't talk to him. So like, oh, did he just know that he was psychic?
Well, I mean, I think he says it, or he's known as like Shin the Clairvoyant. But And I think if anybody would know, it'd be Sakamoto. I mean, he's like the proest of the pros. But it is funny because, yeah, he serves as like an excuse for Sakamoto to not have to speak. And I was like 3 chapters in before I realized or thought, like, does he talk at all ever?
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the thing. And then his wife talks to him. He goes, yeah, okay. I'm like, oh, so he just didn't talk to that guy.
Yeah. It's so funny and it is cool just because it sort of just like adds to his like goofiness kind of. But yeah, so yeah, they have that interaction where he finds Sakamoto, reads his mind, and then, you know, they play that joke where he's like, did you just imagine killing me right now? Which is another ongoing joke that I think is hilarious.
Yeah, it's like instead of like the sitcom like slap on the back of the head, he just like projects the thought of him killing him.
He's like, why did you just imagine killing me? What the hell?
I can read your mind. And, you know, he says he wants to team up. He wants to work with him, you know, or he tries to even convince him like, hey, man, like, why are you living this life? Like, you don't have to live this life. You can be better than this. Like, why are you settling? And I think, you know, he goes to light a cigarette or something outside, and then he just like, you know, takes his box cutter out. And like,
he's like,
he's like, no
side.
Smoking.
Yeah.
Let me try it like Sakamoto. No smoking. Oh, I'd have to enter in. I'd have to put in.
Yeah, you can't talk. Okay, ready? Don't talk.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Someone do their best impression of me. Who's it going to be? Okay. So I go, shh.
Don't smoke.
All right, that's.
There it is. I was looking forward to the second you threw that out there. I was like, which one of us is gonna do it?
All right. I set myself up for that one. Anyway, and he has this moment. He's like, "I'm not going back, dude. I'm not doing it. You know, I'm a family man now." And so Shin goes back and reports to, you know, the heads, and he says like, "Let's just leave him alone, dude. He's not in the game anymore. He's not doing anything anymore. Let's just leave him alone." And they're like, we can't leave him alone. We got to kill him once you're out. Like, the only way to be out officially is by death. And which is what we've learned from literally every movie about assassins.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, you know, they're there and they kind of turn on Shin, or he tells Shin, like, you know what? Like, if you give your life, because Shin's like, kill me instead, dude. Like,
which was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, oh my God. Okay.
It's a pretty
wow.
Well, it's so important that he like has that moment, right? Because it makes sense, or it like is a reason why what happens later happens. But yeah, he's like, just kill me. And he's like, you know what? I will kill you and I won't kill Sakamoto. And then he reads his mind and he's like, I'm going to kill you and Sakamoto, of course.
And you get a very like interesting comedy scene. Like, he can read minds.
And also the part where he's like total John Wick. He's just like, okay, let me hit this little button on the cash register. Boom, boom. And the whole gun room comes up and he's like, okay, here we go. I was like, this is baller.
Yeah. And then you find out that he like implanted like a microphone on him. So he heard that whole conversation. So he knows that he's like good and worth teaming up with, or at least worth saving. And so he goes in there and just whoops ass, man. Yeah, and this is a part of the series that shines. Like when he's in there like beating the shit out of everybody and the panels are showing like different punches and just like the fluidity of the movements and the choreography of the fights, it's like easy to read and just fucking badass.
Yeah, it's the action is done really well. The fight scenes are very clear, where sometimes in manga you can't know who's hitting who. This was like clean cut perfection. Sakamoto doing his thing. He knows how to do this shit. And you find out later, I don't know, did he actually kill anyone in these scenes? Because I know
that's what you can see. It's a taser. Which they mentioned that like at the very end, like it was like, no, I didn't do that, but
it's in the rules.
You see like the gun he pulled like is like pronged.
Yeah. What was the scene where he like does the cough drop? And he like shoots it out of his mouth to like.
Oh, I think that was in this chapter as well.
That was when they sent like another.
Oh yeah.
No, or that no, that wasn't
his
in this
friend.
Chapter. That was with
another person he knows comes in, and you see their thing.
Yeah, there are times where, and that's the only reason I call it like a little One Punch Man-esque in spirit, or in the way that it made me feel, is because like the level of absurdity sometimes at like the things that can happen and like what Sakamoto can do, it's like wild.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
And it makes me think, like, can anybody beat him? Like, it seems like he could just do anything.
He's so, that scene, like, that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I was hooked before, but that just he's like, he dodged my bullet with the cough drop.
Yeah.
So good. He just spits it out so casually. They're like, was that just a cough drop?
Yeah, but to the point of not killing, the whole second chapter, because Shin gets a job at the convenience store, and the whole second chapter is, it covers like a bus heist. And we get to meet and spend more time with like Sakamoto's wife and how they met, and like it explains Sakamoto's moral code.
And I really liked the bandits that
Oh my god.
yeah, it's, us if our mangas get canceled.
Yeah, what a weird motive.
We're gonna kill all of you because our manga got discontinued.
And I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Don't you
I
hate
get
that?
you.
And
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
mean-
I know how my favorite line was. She got back from the grocery store and she's like, would they be mad if I ate the ice cream?
Yeah. Yeah, it's wholesome
Very
and
Megan
fun.
character.
Yeah, she is me.
Super Megan
She is me.
character.
I love her. She's like, no. She's like, this is the rule book. No killing. I'm not about to do that with you again. He's like, okay. And then she's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been so hard on my husband earlier.
Which is, crazy because, she thought that, or Shin says like, oh yeah, you took out those guys. She hears like took out, like killed. And she's like, you know what happens when you kill people. And then she spells out divorce. And he's just like crushed.
Yeah, he's like, no.
And also like that flashback, you find out like the reason or the reason why Sakamoto doesn't kill anymore is because she gave them this very heartfelt, like, speech. Like, and how she proved that point was by jumping off a bridge, not a bridge, but jumping off a ledge.
She was like, oh, I didn't expect there to be snow there. Okay, good. I would have probably died.
Yeah, and she's like, you were sad in those 3 seconds because you thought I was about to die. And it's like, you were about to die.
She almost did.
She's like, other people have people like that too, and that's why you can't kill. And
That was touching. Those like little moments like that just to encapsulate their relationship and to like further you with the characters. Like that's a good manga. If you could just do that in a couple panels, like you got me.
Yeah. And they're, and again, like the wholesome moments work really well. And so when he does end up stopping the manga, I don't even know what you call them, the
bandits or the what starts with an M? The
Madmen.
the manga
Marauders,
the manga maniacs,
Manga maniacs,
the manga mercenaries.
Oh,
I don't know. When he stops them, that's when he tells Shin like, yeah, we don't kill no matter what, we don't kill, and he gives him like his little notebook, which is like the Sakamoto family rules. And you're right, it was a very wholesome, very touching chapter.
And now he's just like, I don't care. I knew you were gonna come save me.
Yeah,
because that's why she's very like
Indifferent.
my ice cream's gonna melt.
And
it's just inconvenient.
And when he saves them, they have to like figure out how to hide their identity. And he finds this in real life, it would be horrifying. It's just like a baby doll mask that he has to wear. It looks like Happy Death Day. Like it looks like that.
He barges in a giant man with a baby mask and was like a sign pole.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh yeah, thank God it's him.
And that's the picture that gets put in like newspapers, and they're like, masked hero, is saving the city from, all these maniacs or whatever. And that's what is the inciting incident that leads us into like the third chapter where we meet that cop character.
Oh yeah.
Who,
which she shouldn't be a cop.
I mean, she's all over the place.
She should
Poor
be,
girl,
I don't know, maybe a neighborhood cop.
Neighborhood watch.
I thought she
Neighborhood
was
watch, not a cop, a watcher.
Yeah.
I thought she was a meter maid at first. It was
Yeah,
over,
I
like
too.
a parking ticket.
Well, those are like their uniforms. Like they straight up wear like skirts, which is crazy.
Yeah, it started as like
Can't get movement.
she went after them because they parked their motorcycle illegally, but it ended with her like talking to her police chief or whatever. I mean, she was like running on foot. It ended up being like a very crazy chase.
Yeah, she's all about justice
Yeah.
And
without
I think
any violence.
she was like, you kind of look like those mysterious people. And they're like, oh yeah, those heroes. And she's like, they broke the law and they should go to jail. They're like, we have to go now.
Yeah, and then they're like, nobody died though. And she's like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, it was just a guess. It's just a guess. It's funny, and she out of all the characters, and I thought she was fun and I liked her, but out of all the characters that we meet in Volume 1, she might be one of my least favorite characters.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I think she's like a side character
Mm-hmm,
because it is like the next person you meet you can like, oh, they're going to become a focal character.
Yeah.
Maybe she will become like a main cop that they're always like the inspector they're always avoiding.
Yeah. I thought she was going to play a bigger role because, as we'll talk about as the volume goes on, like more and more people get sort of added to this cast, but she just sort of pops in for a chapter and then is gone.
And I do like the part where he's like, let's go hit the gym. And they like go hit the gym and he's all like skinny again. And then the next day he's like fat again. He's like, 1 day rebound. What the fuck?
Oh, I mean, yeah, because I think we find out about his transformation, if you want to call it that, like in this fight that happens in this chapter.
Oh yeah, another fight with drugs.
Oh yeah, because she gets, she chases him down. She can't catch him. Instead, she sees these like hooligans picking on these two girls and tries to stop them. And of course, because they're a gang, they just overwhelm her, kidnap her, like duct tape her, take her back to their base.
Yeah, because like they dropped like their bag of weed. And
I mean, that didn't look like any weed I've ever seen. Yeah,
what looked like?
It looked like some crack cocaine.
Probably.
Yeah.
It sounds. It's so when you say crack cocaine looking like that.
Crack cocaine.
Yeah.
You're the spokesperson for crack cocaine.
Feeling down.
Yeah. I mean, not that I have any frame of reference for what that might look like.
Oh no, not at all.
But
anyway, and she's like tied to the chair, and they're like, I think they mentioned like she doesn't have a gun, and she's like, well, if I had a gun, I wouldn't point it at you ever. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and another reason why I thought they were setting her up to be part of the gang, and maybe they are down the road, but because she doesn't want to kill anybody either, she's there to protect because that's a city she grew up in, and even like her higher up was telling her like, why do you want to like be here in this city doing this? Like you could be doing so many other things, or even like you could be a cop in a better city, and she's like, this is the city I grew up in. This is the city I love.
This is the city I have to defend.
Exactly. And it's during this fight when Sakamoto and Shin show up that this is where that teamwork is on display. And now I'm like, okay, like it really starts to pick up right here as far as like action goes. Cause it's like, it's action, but some comedy and some wholesome. But here it's like action, teamwork. I love their dynamic.
Yeah, they do a smoke bomb and then the telepathic guy is going around like 2 feet to your right, and then Sakamoto is just like, he's blinded too, but because he's being directed where to go, he takes everyone out.
Yeah, and then he freaks out and he's like, oh, Sakamoto's not wearing his mask, like she's gonna recognize him once the smoke dissipates. And as it does, like he's just standing there and he's like super skinny.
He's like not skinny, he's ripped.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
And I mean he looks like he did in his glory days, I guess.
Yeah.
And the thing that you find out with Sakamoto is, I guess, that he just has, like, if he exerts any amount, like, whether it's because his body is, or he's so efficient and like knows like
what to work out and how
like,
to do it,
or like how do you? Okay, you sound
no. You always do this. I was just making a point.
Okay, I mean,
it's just that whenever stuff like that, you go like, yeah, like he really takes care of himself, and he knows what to do.
Yeah, your voice starts to trail.
Yeah, he does that little. He starts to snake.
No, you look great.
And it's like, whether for comedy or for an actual like plot device, it's pretty fun. And cool.
I took it as he burned the calories from fighting. That it burned all the fat. Like underneath has always been all that muscle.
Yeah.
And then, but the lifestyle he lives will just lead him to putting it down, like back almost immediately.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of them advertising with that shot of him.
Oh yeah.
Like with having that on the cover of the manga and like doing the anime, and you see like a shot of him like standing in the smoke, like sweating.
And then cut to, jowls.
Next day. And he's like, what the hell?
Yeah. And then he's just eating. And then that's when the guy's like, you bounce back after a day?
Yeah. That's impressive.
I mean, somebody whose weight fluctuates quite
well. His fluctuates.
Yeah.
Yours.
Wow.
Right, I'm just saying I get
climb.
I get it.
Doth climb.
I get it. I get it. That's all I'm saying. But
I did like the other, and there's like one little panel of his wife being like, I told you to only eat 2.
Yeah. And their relationship is fun. Like she could keep him in line. She's got a leash on him, and he's a better man for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If only. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I like how she's like there for him and like helps him through his life. Yeah.
And I like how she knows his past.
That's why I'm cosplaying as Sakamoto today. Oh. Not even to be the character, but just so that I know that there's someone, If
I can just squeeze this in here, are you a Sakamoto head?
I guess, yeah. Well, I guess you could kind of say that.
Mm-hmm.
Moving up.
Megan?
They're not all,
Thanks.
wins.
No,
Some of them are misses.
that was pretty bad.
Nah, that was good.
But after that, then we meet another character, and this character I really, really like. This is going to be a deep cut that nobody watching or listening is going to get. And if you do, then we're kindred spirits. We're meant to be together. Man, woman, we're meant to be together. She reminded me of a character from this old anime called Zatch Bell. There's these two characters called Wanrei and Leanne, and she kind of looked like a combination of them both. But I was just a sucker for her character design. I thought was cool. Her abilities were cool, and her presence I thought was a really nice addition to this team.
Yeah, I liked Lou a lot. I liked her whole. I liked this whole chapter. Chapter 5 was like really good. Really good.
Really,
that
really good.
It did feel like, and that's where the Spikes family comparison comes to. They're like, and this is now the arc that the volume ends on. So you see that like with some sort of like slice of life bits. Here's day 1, day 2, and then now a story.
Yeah, and this is kind of you're right. This is like them assembling the family.
Yes. Or maybe there'll be more people.
Maybe there will be
family,
but three's already kind of a crowd.
Yeah, I think you're right. 3 is the perfect amount of people.
Yeah.
3 is. That's what I meant to say. Is the perfect amount of people.
Yeah. See, because what you said is a negative connotation.
3 is a crowd.
No, I said it's the perfect amount of people. Thank you, Cody.
I seem to have misheard you.
I seem to not have heard
it's
that.
The mustache.
Piece of the tape.
It's the mustache.
Oh, it just delayed.
Oh, okay.
Delayed
or just
jokes?
it just like
information.
It disrupts my speech.
Thought. Oh.
Yeah. Wow, you're just jumping to crazy conclusions over there. But she's cool. She comes from the triad. Her family was, obviously very big players. They have a treasure that this other gang is after. And we get introduced to sort of the another gang, another group, another sect of criminal and 2 other assassins. And, I looked up some facts in doing research for this episode on the mangaka. And the mangaka, when asked what his favorite anime was or manga was, he said Hunter x Hunter.
Isn't that interesting?
Which is interesting, which makes me believe that, we're going to get some of that really cool, because, these 2 assassins, I mean, I feel like they could be in Hunter x Hunter. They could be applying for the Hunter exam, these 2 guys.
Definitely. I don't know how far they would get, so they can't.
Oh, no, they'd be like round 1.
Out. Yeah.
Wouldn't they get, some nen or
some nen?
Not yet.
Yeah, these
not yet.
Not.
I thought you were gonna say
Not
these are my
yet.
kind of nen instead of my kind of men.
Okay, let's talk about. Okay, following that track, let's talk about some men puns we can get going on here. The nen in black.
The nen in black, because they're assassins. They
good nen.
Yeah.
No country for old nen.
No country for old nen.
That yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Josh
Yes, sir.
looks so funny.
Leave a comment. If you want me to wear this in every episode, I'll do it. I am getting mustache hair in my mouth, but it's worth it. They're fun. They're cool. They're powerful. I'm thinking, these 2 brothers, these 2 assassins, mixed with now getting, what's the girl character's name again? Lou. I thought that, they were going to give Sakamoto and Shin a run for their money.
Well, yeah, because they're like super violent. Like they take off a guy's head and they're like, "Oh, look, he's still trying to breathe." Ha ha ha. Yeah. And the other one's like, "Don't mess up." Like the way it's written, it looks like he has like an accent or something. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, okay, we're cutting off heads." Like it's very graphic when it is.
I like the thing too where she's like, "Yeah, they're so great. They'll take dead bodies and they'll just draw pictures of them, and you just see like a little quarter panel of them like doing like sketches and stuff like
that was funny
easel,
because it's like like that realistic touch of like, oh yeah, they like draw the, but it's like they have to like sit there and like compose the pictures and everything.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny, and I thought they were going to be give them a run for their money, but like I said, Sakamoto is Sakamoto, and he pretty easily beats the shit out of these guys.
Yeah, dude.
With a trash can.
And he even like asks her like, because they're like, okay, they're on their way to get pork buns from that area, and they're like, he's like, we'll help you. Can you make pork buns? And she's like, yeah, I could try. And he's like, okay, then we'll help you. We're not going to go home yet. This is
right,
this is the mission now.
Yeah.
They were grocery shopping and there was like a sale or something for pork buns.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, if we do this, we can't get those.
Yeah, and when I was reading that, I did really start to crave pork buns because we had some pork
I remember
buns.
when we had got pork buns and those rule.
Those were like amazing.
Yeah.
Those were like really
Little Tokyo's
really good.
bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So good. But yeah, he defeats them pretty easily. It was another great action scene.
And again, the absurdity when he like literally breaks a knife with tongs, like hilarious.
Oh, amazing.
So funny.
Amazing. And Lou joins the team. She gets a job, and they also like go into like her. What's funny with her is they go into that vault, into that safe that her family was protecting with that key that these assassins are trying to get.
I thought that was an interesting way of ending that story.
Yeah.
Which is that's my family's treasure. And I need a job now. Like, but we found your family's treasure. And she's like, I can't just sell that.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, we wouldn't have all this if we just spent it when we got it.
Yeah.
And she's just like in the apron, is at the store, and she's like, what the fuck?
But she's a terrible employee because she's never had a job before. Like, she even says, like, the only job I've ever had is like, what was it that my dad would like bury duffel bags?
My dad would bury mysterious duffel bags.
Probably bags of money or treasure. I thought my dad bury stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was dead bodies.
Oh, it could be very well be
I
dead
thought
bodies.
the joke was like, as a kid, she would help dig the holes that her dad would dig. And then like she's just so loopy, she doesn't get that. Kind of like
Luffy? Like Luffy.
Or Luffy. All right.
Luffy or another person.
Or any other person.
Who could it be?
But she plays off Shin so well. I think, now Shin has somebody to bounce off of, and their dynamic, I'm in love with their dynamic. And in the next chapter, that's when we get the cough drop scene. That's when we get this like other guy who used to work with him, who also
that's where it was.
Yeah. Who also has an ability that's like crazy.
Which is like, because like I thought like, oh, are we just jumping into like there's like supernatural
that's what I mean.
beings.
Yeah.
And then like, no, he's just really good at disguise. I'm like, all right, so it's like comedy skilled, which is like that is a supernatural power, but in this world, okay, he is just good with disguises. So yeah, I was like, oh my god, are there like other dimensions? No, he's just magically good with.
But it's like magic though.
Yeah,
I mean, because
like
he
magic.
can like pop. I thought this was like a shapeshifter.
Yeah,
not just a
same.
master of disguise, Dana Carvey, but an actual
the legend.
The legend. Like he actually like this guy pops in. Like he's Sakamoto. He's impersonating Sakamoto 1 second, and then in the next panel, he's himself.
Which was so funny as the reader too. You're reading and Sakamoto's just talking. And you're like, is he in a good mood today? What's going on? And it turns out, no shit, that's not him. And it's just funny because even as the reader, you're like, wait a minute, something's off.
I thought
they kind of set it up very well.
I thought it was effectively like kind of creepy too when the other Sakamoto like just goes to stab through the newspaper.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Those dramatic panels are like you're kind of taken aback. You're like, wow, this is really. It's really well drawn and executed in those moments, but they set it up so well because, like you said, like we've gotten to know him and this is who he is, and so this is even for readers, it's a little out of character for him. So we're also like, what is happening right now?
I thought it was gonna be something like, like there's like an anniversary coming up,
right?
It's gonna be like,
he's happy.
I did think that too.
I thought that too.
Yeah, but he's not, and he tells him, and this is very John Wick. He tells him that that they're out for him, that people are assassins everywhere, that there's been an alert and everybody is out for him because of the price on his head. And of course they're getting pizza delivered at the same time, and the pizza guy, tries to kill him. And that to me felt like the end of John Wick, when you realize like, oh, everybody's he's in that crowded courtyard, and then just like
everyone's phone goes off. I mean, even if this is where they all exclusively hang out.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that have this.
Like for a movie, I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, but also
occupation.
It adds this weird bit where like the person walking their dog like goes like, so that person is like an assassin. They're like, all right, time to it's Sunday, time to
It's
well, if you look really closely, the dog has a little phone too.
That'd be cute.
All right, we're gonna write a parody of John.
I like that. But I do
see
like
a pigeon like it's like
Something goes off in its wing or something.
Yeah. Pigeons start like whispering to each other and they look at him. And
Yeah. And Sakamoto does feel like it might play around with that concept.
Even homeless people
are
assassins in John Wick. They're not even pretending. They're legitimately homeless people and they're assassins.
Maybe
and they're good.
They're great, but maybe they are playing a role.
No, because we see them in the later movies.
Yeah, but maybe it's all a con.
Well, and first of all, we're all playing a role.
Okay.
You're right about that.
I do like when he's like, I'm 18. He's like, he's not 18. He's 27. Yeah. They're like, you're so young. Yeah. I was like, why did he lie about that?
Which is funny though, because if he can shapeshift and just sort of like look however he wants to look, I do imagine him just like purposely looking younger than he is all the time. And like, what do you mean? This is how I always look.
Why wouldn't you?
Why
wouldn't you?
Josh move.
I literally wrote, it's Josh, LMFAO.
LMFAO.
You're a master of disguises.
Yeah, you're a master of disguises.
I'll cut this stuff out. Why did you say that? Why did you say that was me? Because he's like old or something?
No, because 27 isn't old, but.
Right.
Which if you were.
You're not old.
Wouldn't be old. Yeah, we can all agree.
But anything maybe above 27, it might be.
Then it starts to get into old territory.
Old territory. Anything after maybe.
Don't say it.
I would say around the 29 or
the 29 area, yeah.
So you're saying anything above that is old?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean your hair's graying.
Yeah, you didn't do that for the video. It's just you've been having a hard week and the grays are coming in.
It's been tough. Yeah, it's been real tough.
Yeah. Well, this economy is.
Okay. All right. We're back in the video now. But yeah, I thought that was a really fun way to play with it. It was fun. It was very similar to John Wick, but it played with it a little bit more, and I liked it.
And there's a great moment too when all of the people are like in the room and they're like, "We're gonna have to get him." Like, this has to happen. And then he just looks at the camera that they hid in the convenience store, and he's just like, "If you continue to come look for me, I will kill you." And they're like, "He found the camera." And they're all like freaking out, even though he can't do anything to them. Then they're all like scared.
Which for a second I thought he burst through the camera.
It wouldn't surprise me at this point.
I thought he already found them and he jumped through the TV to get them.
I mean, anything can happen in Sakamoto Days. This is where the infamous cough drop scene happens too.
Oh, so good. And I do like how I don't know his name, the new character, but he says Shin's like, are more people gonna come? Are more people gonna? He's like, oh yeah, they're gonna come, but they're not gonna be like this guy that you just defeated. He's like chump change. Mm-hmm. Bye. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, and to just really, now that we're here, go a little bit deeper into that cough drop scene. I mean, he's just like, Sakamoto is popping cough drops out of his mouth and using a rubber band, but they are acting like bullets, dude.
So
and he's
funny.
shooting them through this small, there's this grate in this fence sort of thing, and he's shooting them through the holes of this thing.
Kind of like Bloodsport.
Kind of like Bloodsport, dude.
That's where they got that one from.
Everything is Sakamoto Days.
Everything is Sakamoto.
But it was a fun scene and it was really cool. The last chapter, I think, or one of the last chapters is now that they know that everybody's after him, they switch gears again and it leans more to the wholesome side. They have a family outing at a theme park.
I loved the setup for that.
Yeah.
Because it's well, we got to get ready.
We got to lay
it's
low.
Park day. And he's just like, and they're like, you're not going to miss this, are you, Dad? He's like, we have to go.
Yeah, we actually
have to go. Sorry, guys. And they're like, oh my God.
And it's funny because it's them in the park, and now Shin and Lu are on high alert, and they're also we get a little more detail on Shin's abilities and that it works in a 20 meter radius, and that
they put limitations because you see that when he fights Sakamoto, because he's like, oh, I can't read his mind. I don't know where he is, and when he gets closer, you can see from his perspective, and then you can find him.
He has to focus really hard because Lou's like, oh, are you reading my thoughts? And he's like, no, I have to focus really hard on that. Actually,
they describe it like tuning into a radio station. He's like, I have to just kind of zone in on exactly.
Yeah, I like a little touch like that. It's like, no, it's actually pretty hard.
Well, it's because you have a character like Sakamoto who can pretty much do anything. You can't have another character who can pretty much read everyone's minds constantly. So it is good that they put limitations on that because it will play later in the story. And have,
It is that One Punch Man dynamic because you do get the comedy from One Punch Man, but then Genos, the way he fights is more interesting because he's not so powerful.
Exactly.
So you get to have both. You get to have funny stuff and oh, here's an interesting system here.
Yeah. And it's funny because they're in the park and Sakamoto is having to, through I always get this word wrong, Cody. You're gonna have to help me out. Through telepathy. I got it. Never mind.
Telepathy?
Yeah.
Well, I told you that mentally.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
I
Oh
didn't
my
hear
god.
it.
I'm every. Well, I
You got to
was.
tune in. You
yeah.
got to dial in.
Telepathy.
Telepathy. Through telepathy.
Now
he's
what am I
telling him-
thinking, Josh?
I can't even say that on camera. And I don't even think you can say that.
You can think it though. I'll tell you that much. and I often do.
Touche.
No.
You tried.
Mustache.
Mustache.
You're gonna come at me like, oh, your pun was
Mustache.
bad.
Your pun was bad.
Yeah. But I thought this was funny because like he's having to tell him through telepathy, like, okay, this guy's about to kill you. Watch out, watch out, watch out. And Sakamoto has to like, without his wife and daughter, who we haven't really mentioned, but is adorable.
She's so cute.
Yeah, adorable. He has to like take them out quickly and like discreetly enough, and then be like, yeah, I saw it over there. That's cool, you know. But it's so fun.
And then he
how
like
quick.
he stabs a janitor assassin with a
Oh,
pen,
yeah.
and like, oh, he got him in just the right spot that we
Do
don't have
not
to.
kill him.
And I really like the follow up on the janitor assassin.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't just he chose to be a janitor for that one. They're like, no, that was his thing, and I was telling him to like abandon it. I was telling him it was getting old and it wasn't working out, but that was his shtick.
Yeah, and that's kind of the last chapter, right? Am I?
It doesn't really end on a cliffhanger. It sort of ends on like, find out next week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which I thought that it was a pretty solid volume 1 for the most part. I mean, it has a little bit of everything. It's like it's showcasing what it's going to do, I think, in action and comedy and its wholesome moments. Like you get all of them and you meet a good amount of characters. It expands on the world. It adds to the cast. And I thought I didn't need it to like end on a cliffhanger. Not this type of story. Like I thought it ended in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it like, you know, it would be definitely be like, okay, I want to know what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't like a big, it's not a criticism. It's just it chose to go the direction of like, and the story is going to keep going in volume 2.
Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, if you're not already sold on it, like
Mhm.
you're probably not going to keep reading it. So they don't need to end on like this huge cliffhanger to like check out. No, it's just like you're already in it. Like if you want to keep reading, keep reading.
I think like action thrillers, those need a,
Mhm.
and just so you know, there's more.
Yeah.
But if it's based on like comedy and like characters, it can just do the, and that was volume 1. This is gonna finish in volume 2.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're like you said exactly, if you're not hooked by that point, then you're not gonna want to read volume 2 anyway. But I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, like a thriller needs to end on like, well, but now this new element. But a comedy can't end on like, and how's this joke gonna go?
Exactly.
Yeah, and it is slice of life. So if you're just gonna keep seeing these funny interactions and how the characters interact with each other, like if you don't want that, then you're not gonna want to know what happens in the story. Like it's not like his life is it kind of is at stake. Like you don't.
I mean, it is, but it's like
assassins could not be more.
But
Could not be more at stake.
But in the first volume, I haven't seen any of them be even slightly of danger.
It's gonna keep ramping up.
I went through 3 cup of noodles just reading this.
Oh, you ate
That
cup of noodles
sounds
while you watched
so
it? Or while you
good.
read it?
Yeah,
He eats cup of noodles in the manga.
that's why I did it. I
Yeah.
saw him.
Oh, that's good.
I saw him do it. I'm like, you know what, dude? That looks like a great time.
Yeah.
And I just made a bunch. I got full after the second one, but I finished the third one off, and then I was just like, this rules, man.
What flavors?
Chicken.
Chicken all the way?
Madman. I bought a case.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you
I
got
wish
cup
they
of
had,
noodle, the
like,
big
a-
case. Yeah.
It's like $2. I'm like, sure, who cares?
Yeah.
I wish
I don't
they had-
even care if it tastes like anything.
Like a variety pack of ramen where it comes with like beef.
They should
chicken,
do
shrimp.
that.
Why have they not done that?
Because they want you to buy. They want you to buy more noodles.
No.
Because if you get
Solid.
a variety, yeah. Because now
I
you gotta
can't
buy.
argue with that.
Now you got to buy 2
And I don't want
cases
to
of noodles.
get too. So we're on this track. I have found that the chicken is like almost like flavorless now, and that's not how it used to be. When you compare it
what
to beef,
chicken?
cup of noodles.
There's no chicken in cup of noodles.
No, it's not
I mean,
It's called chicken flavor.
It is called chicken flavor.
chicken
but
powder.
It is chicken powder, but I don't know what is in it. It's first of all, it's not. It's just it's not even anything really. It's just like a little.
Well,
a
chicken
little.
broth would mean that it was like they use chicken bones, right?
Oh yeah, I guess yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
more
this-
like the cooking stuff. What
The
is it called?
seasonings.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
seasoning. I
And
don't know what it's called.
This leads me to a follow, and this is my cry to the fans here. which is if someone can direct me to a thing where I could just basically get a large jug of like top ramen seasoning packets. If I could just buy that in bulk and buy my own noodles, I would much rather.
This off
They
mic
do.
too,
They
right?
have.
And
they
now
have,
you're bringing it to the podcast.
Would it be cool?
They have the. They do have that. They have the chicken one, and they have the
But
beef
that's
one.
a liquid.
No, it's not. It's powder too.
They sell large quantities of.
They
What's
sell
this?
large quantities of powder. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this big. You can get it this big.
Where?
And it's the same shit. I'll show you.
Okay. Well,
Your
folks.
wife's looking up for Cody.
Old Cody's life is done. I figured it out.
And speaking of done, this first volume is done. How did you guys feel about it? Did you like it? Are you reading more of it? Yeah, where are you guys at?
I did really like it. I'm still in the process of like reading and collecting Way of the House Husband. So maybe when I'm not finished reading it, but I don't know. They're not too similar. But if I'm gonna read one or the other, I might have to finish that one before I start.
Yeah, because this is in Jump right now
Just
currently.
to say the same thing.
There.
This is in Jump currently, and I think it's people are. Jump is having a resurgence, man. I mean, they're kind of killing it now. I mean, they got Kaiju number 8 in there now. Dandadan's coming over. Spy X Family, yeah.
I just we found out about Kaiju number 8 because someone just kept like they like commented on every one of our medias.
That was for our part 2 video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
I just remembered that fondly. I'm like, oh, that was nice that we kept reading because of that.
yeah. I mean, it just goes to show you if you berate us enough across all platforms, then
We'll do it.
eventually.
Well, we've had
do it.
recommendations for this a bunch.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we
We're
finally
doing
got
it,
around to it. Yeah.
But it's in Shonen Jump right now with other heavy hitters, and I think when you look at all the other series that are in Jump right now, I mean, this is so different, and this is, I think, very necessary. It's a nice change of pace. But as much as I did have a really good time, and I really did like this series a lot, personally, and these are my opinions, I remember thinking Way of the House Husband, joke-wise, I thought it was a little funnier, even though they were self-contained, and this is not as self-contained. And I might not continue reading it, but it doesn't mean that I don't like it. I think it's a fun, cozy read.
Along that track, if the anime of imagine if that was good. But yeah, I reading Way of the House, I was laughing heartily.
Yeah,
often.
I was laughing hard.
Heartily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Reading this, I was just like, it was just that like nice smile humor of like, yeah. I think I'm going to enjoy this as an anime more, and I just have to enjoy Way of the House Husband as a manga more.
I mean, it's super casual read. Like I could see myself, I don't have anything else to do. Let me just catch up on this because it is fun. It's nice. It's not, you don't have to think about it too hard. And I think that if it comes out with the serialized copy, I'm definitely gonna buy it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see myself buying a serialized copy of it for sure because, like I said, and I do feel the need to repeat myself just because, sometimes I might criticize a series and then people in the comments say Josh hated it.
No, it's sometimes you'll say you like a series and people will say, I can't believe Josh hated it.
Well, no, I'll like a series but criticize it, and then I feel like sometimes people only hear the criticism, and I'm not criticizing this. I think that it was wholesome, fun, action. It did everything, and it did it well. It was cozy. It was a fun time. But I think if it's between this and the Dandadans or the Kaiju number 8, like I'm thinking of other stuff that's in Shonen Jump right now currently. I mean, I actually really liked Undead Unluck a lot too. I know.
Yeah, I want to keep reading it. I've been wanting to catch up on that. I don't know if we were gonna do.
Yeah, and that's not to take away from Sakamoto Days. I think if you like this kind of story, because it is a little Spy X Family too. You're absolutely right. It's got that wholesome side to it. And so if you like this kind of story, you're gonna love this because it is doing what it's doing so well. Yeah, so I encourage you to read it.
Basically, I'd recommend this to someone who likes slice of life, but I just have so much stuff in my backlog.
Yeah, that's the only issue.
Just realistically, by the time I'm in a place to get back to this, there will be an anime.
Yeah, and this is like a manga that I can see myself being in a certain mood for. It's like a rainy day, and maybe I'm eating a cup of noodles, and I'm like, you know what? I want to catch up on Sakamoto. I want to see what old Sakamoto's up to.
This is great for you're at a place. You're like waiting on for the bus or something. You just read this.
Yeah. So I think that we all really did love it and we all did like it.
And we all gotta have it.
And we all gotta
have it.
Yeah. But what do you think about Sakamoto Days? Have you read it? And if you have, what do you think about it? What do you think about it? And if you do decide to read it, based on our review, let us know what you thought about it. And yeah, you can let us know in the comments of this video. You can let us know on our Discord, which there should be a working link to, like in our about section of the YouTube, on DM us on Instagram. Really wherever you can find us, let us know. But I think that's going to do it for another Volume 1 review, but we're not done yet. Now it's time for the Oners Circle, the section of our podcast where we respond to comments that you've left on previous videos. How it works is Volume 1-chan goes through some of those comments. She picks a few, she reads them, and we respond to them. And if you would like to get one of your comments read, or even just to hear Volume 1-chan say some silly stuff, you can leave a comment on this video or any of our previous videos. But with all that said, Volume 1-chan, can you hit us with the first comment, please?
This one comes from Red Max. This was very enjoyable and painful to watch at the same time.
Painful.
The puns! Someone stop the puns!
Oh, this is from the One Piece video.
Wow. You know what? You can't handle the puns.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean,
All right, I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we really left you out to dry. I was trying to think of another we shipwrecked you or something, but I don't know. We all had one. We all had one L. This episode.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who else had it? No, one of you guys made the Death Note L joke.
Maybe.
But I think in that episode especially, I mean, it was heavy with the puns.
Heavy with
I bet
the puns.
when you heard the puns, you were going, "Arr!"
Okay, and I'm sorry for that too. And
That wasn't a pun.
It wasn't a pun. But just know too that
So that's what else you could get. It's puns or that.
I mean, it's a variety of things that you can get.
I like the puns.
Yeah, the puns are good.
Puns are fun.
Puns are fun, but I think sometimes
Tons of fun.
Oh boy, I'm sorry. And
What?
You know,
I'm right.
I'll have a conversation. We'll talk about it off mic. I'll have a conversation with him.
You're kind of scary.
Yeah,
You're kind of like.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's
emanating
soccer.
the
Yeah, you got
aura right
Your
now.
cosplay is so good. You did his body and everything.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh.
All right, moving on. Thank you for the comment. Volume 1-chan, can you read the next comment to us, please?
This one comes from AMV Fan 15. I know you said gum gum fruit was a mistranslation, but it's not. It's called that because you get rubber from gum trees.
Interesting.
Oh.
And I just want to say, first of all, a lot of anxiety surrounding the release of our One Piece episode, just in general. And I'm really glad that information was given to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It is super interesting. I looked it up. And
Yeah, rubber is cool.
No, rubber's like very cool.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense to me that it comes from plants. That seems like that should be something that can't be found in nature.
No, I could
You'd
see
be
that.
surprised.
No, I could definitely see that, dude. I could definitely see that. But the thing is, it's just like, with One Piece, and just with any series, but specifically with something that has such a passionate fan base and such a beloved series, is that it's like you want to respect the fans and respect the manga by getting as many things as you can right. And sometimes with the information that you have available, it feels like there's no true truth. There's no one right answer.
That's sort of the moral, right? Is there is no one truth, and you can only live your truth. And it's called the gum gum fruit.
Sure. But even with Zoro and Zolo, whether it's copyright or whether it's a translation error or issue, I've seen both argued online. And while this is a very interesting tidbit, and I really appreciate it, and I learned something when I read that. I learned a little bit today. And but I mean, we also have a word for rubber. So I just that's my point, is that while I appreciate it, I do feel like maybe it would make more sense in the manga if they just said rubber
or gum.
Well, rubber.
It's the properties of rubber.
Why do you keep
Well, he
going
says
back to
gomu
this?
gomu. Someone pointed out though that he's not going to be like rubber.
That's a good point too.
Mm.
Yeah, look, I don't know what I'm talking about, but thank you for reaching out and making me a little bit smarter. Volume 1 Shine, can you hit us with the third and final comment, please?
This one comes from Flames Dean. One Piece is easily one of my favorite series. I can't wait to see Cody criticize it.
Oh.
That's been a weird thing I've been seeing people
How
say.
is weird?
Yeah.
Would you say weird?
I wouldn't say weird.
I would
but
say
I'm surprised
probably
this is
factual.
This would be an example of why I'm afraid to voice myself here.
Well, people love it.
Some people love it. I don't think everybody loves it.
Yeah, it is. You know,
I know somebody who doesn't love it.
Yeah. You don't like going into rubber and gum Hunter bits that I thought would have been fun.
No, it would have been fun. It would have been fun.
You were just, why are you doing this? I'm like, okay, well, all right.
No,
well.
that was me. That was me playing. I was playing it back. I was throwing it back to you.
No, that's not.
You guys are like catch ball catch.
Yeah. That was me, and then you were supposed to come back even harder.
Yes,
and yeah.
He no-butted me.
No, I didn't know.
That's against the rules.
No, I didn't know. But you. That was me. That was me. Like giving it. I was like, come on, Cody, get me. And then you didn't. And then you shut it down, and I was like, all right, I guess.
I shut it down. Okay, that's it. Yeah, there is a fear in like, especially because like I don't like most things. Even the things I do like, I'm perfectly like fine with. Like, yeah, I mean that whole character was like pretty bad and stuff, which I feel like people can take as like, oh, you didn't. Which we were talking about that, where if you say you didn't like this, but to me that's the only thing worthy of, because if I like something and then here's this issue. I don't really feel the need to say like, oh yeah, I like kind of liked that.
Yeah.
So what sticks out for a lot of people is the critique.
Well, and I joke, I give you a hard time about it, but I mean, it is, it's part of our dynamic. I mean, that's what I love about like having all of us bring something different to the table, and you are a person that isn't easily impressed by things, and so a lot of times, like I find myself even off mic, I find myself like feeling, and I kind of like it. I have to like win you over. Like if I find something that I like, I can't just like present it to you and you go, oh, that's pretty cool. I have to like sell you on it. But that like, I don't know. That's kind of fun for me.
I have encountered like dozens of mangas. When I say I go into everything with the same expectation, that is to not like it. So if something wins me over, it had to go past that initial barrier in the first place.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, I think you said it. Every group needs a Simon Cowell.
Yeah, and I think I ruined one movie for you, and I'm still proud of that.
Yeah, and that's because I ruined a movie for you, and it's like tit for tat.
Yeah,
yeah. But Cody, we're happy to have you here. I'm sure everybody watching and listening is happy to have you here, and hopefully you're happy to have us all here.
Cody gang.
We're still in talks of whether it's a Band of the Cock as a unit or if it's just Band of the Cock as Megan. But Megan, you said you like Megan's Monsters a lot.
I do like Megan's Monsters. It's fitting.
It's like alliteration MM.
You eat people.
Yeah. Well, not all monsters eat people. But my
true.
monsters do.
Yeah. Or whether you're a Josh's jokester, which hey, we're fun too.
It's coming up.
It's coming up. All right, that's gonna do it for the Oners Circle. Thank you as always for watching, for listening. But before we go, we have to thank our wonderful, beautiful, amazing Patreon members. Woo! Thank every single one of you. You guys are the absolute best. If I could read your minds, then I think that I would probably hear things I couldn't even understand because you guys are so smart. And so I would probably be like, what? How do you know? How do you even know that information?
Dude, you guys are
about pork buns.
Yeah, pork buns and stuff like that.
Killing us with kindness.
You guys are killing us with kindness. We love and appreciate you.
You're the treasure that we can't sell.
I think we said the treasure we can't sell. Yeah, we haven't said that yet. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world to us. And thank you to everybody just watching, just listening. No matter how you show your support, we appreciate it all. If you're a part of the algorithm gang, if you're liking, commenting, subscribing, thumbs up, and whatever you're doing, we appreciate all of it. That's going to do it for another episode of Volume 1, another Volume 1 review. Remember, live show, first Sunday of every month. This month is Food Wars. Cody's going to eat some spicy stuff, and he hates that. It was the confession last time, but this time the heat literally is going to be on him. Because Megan is fine with hot stuff, and then we're going to get Megan in the next live.
And little do people know that even though I hate spice, I purposely build up a tolerance to it.
which we'll see how that fares for you.
Yes.
And if you want to
Years
join,
will.
of drink putting it in my coffee.
uh-huh.
Little Cody hot tip butter and cayenne pepper in your coffee.
All right. And if you want to, speaking of, Cody getting me the confession and, us getting him on the next live show, if you want to hear us get Megan, then you can join the Patreon by going to patreon.com/volume1pod and listening to the Patreon exclusive bonus podcast, which Megan feels like we roast her on all the time.
It's not that I feel. It's okay.
You went
Tell
to
me.
a dog's birthday party.
Okay.
We're going to get into that. This is a great little preview for the Patreon because we're going to get into that in the Patreon exclusive bonus podcast, which you can find at patreon.com/volume1pod. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro. That's always the same. It never changes. Which today,
Sakamoto it to me.
Sakamoto
wow,
it to
Cody,
me.
coming out of the gate strong.
Saka more, please.
Saka, don't make that face.
Yeah,
Cody.
that was good.
I think Cody's maybe was
That's
a
little
bit
better because it's like, the action.
Sakamoto it to me.
Sakamoto it to me. That's better.
Yeah.
I like his better.
Did you have another one?
No, that was the only one I came up
But
with.
yours was good. I didn't like the face he made.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
No, I just want
My
you to
face
know.
just does that.
How long can you use that excuse?
I guess until I die.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
Sakamoto it to me.
Yes, sir. Where? Where?